So we talked yesterday about how there was the short list for the Times Person of the Year, and now they have announced the Times Person of the Year. It is...
Janet Yellen.
That's right. No.
Kanye West.
That's also right. It is Volodymyr Zelensky. He is the Time Person of the Year. Time editor Edward Felsenthal made the big reveal on the Today Show. The magazine says the Ukrainian president galvanized the world in a way we haven't seen in decades. In the weeks after Russian bombs began falling on February 24th, his decision not to flee Kyiv, but to stay and rally support was fateful. Goes on to say that Zelensky was chosen for proving that courage can be as contagious as fear, for stirring people and nations to come together in defense of freedom, for reminding the world of the fragility of democracy and of peace.
I don't get how our economy works. Like, we'll give them $40 billion a day, and then you go, for how long? And they go,
Till it's over.
And then you go, hey, can we get some more trash cans put out in L.A.?
No,
Hey, we don't have the budget.
Crunch.
That's a situation with money.
I feel like we've been sending over Bitcoin.
Right.
Yeah.
It's appreciated on the flight over.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I will say this. You will find out things about him in that war that will not be nearly as flattering as the version that we're hearing now at some point in the future.
Sure.
That's what I can tell you.
And I don't think they're a carbon copy of each other, but you know how, whoever's going to play you in the movies, obviously already like Hollywood big screen ready and always the slightly better looking version. Do you know who absolutely is going to play him?
Jeremy Renner.
Exactly.
Is that what you're going to say?
Jeremy Renner.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Save it for the game.
That's right. Yeah.
It's also amazing. Hollywood is great because no one could find Ukraine on the map, and then this shit happened, and everyone's wearing buttons and meeting with him, and everyone's telling him how important the work is. I've been a long admirer of what he's been doing over there.
Right, and it's not the Ukraine, even though we all have said the Ukraine forever. Now we know. Hey, do you want an update on the guy who shot Lady Gaga's dog walker?
And we were all saying Kiev, and now it's Kyiv.
Like chicken Kiev.
Right.
Because we learned that Russia calls it Kiev and Ukraine calls it Kyiv, so they're siding with the Ukrainians.
Yes.
So
the
real
man of the year, the guy took a bullet for Lady Gaga's pug.
That's right.
That's the man of the year.
Well, let's talk about the guy who shot him. That guy has been sentenced to 21 years in prison. James Howard Jackson, who accepted a plea deal, was one of 5 men arrested in the incident. Prosecutors argued that it was Jackson who fired the shot at Ryan Fisher that night in an attempt to steal Gaga's 2 Frenchies, little French bulldogs. The dogs were eventually returned unharmed, and Ryan has recovered. And remember, he was like doing a GoFundMe to like get in his van and just kind of like see the country. I should have actually probably see where we are with that.
She had offered like a $500,000 reward for the dogs, but not for the person that shot her, the world's best assistant.
That's right. Take a bullet for your dogs. That'll be on his business card.
The people that shoot people who don't comply with stuff that they never had any ideas about, like, that's the scariest person to me. Like the person that goes, give me your dogs or give me your wallet, and you don't, they go, all right, well then I'm going to shoot you. Those are the scariest people on the planet.
Yeah, there's no, they were like, well, this didn't work.
Yeah.
And so now I guess I'm holding this gun.
Yeah, or maybe it's, I can't let word get out that I don't actually shoot people who don't comply, so I'm going to have to do this.
Well, there's 5 guys.
Yeah.
Well, they have
in the kidnapping ring, the dog napping ring.
Can I just say this about Los Angeles? We have rings for guys to steal your catalytic converters, and we have rings for guys to steal your dogs, and they roam the street with guns and sawzalls. Can we give this a little bit of thought as to like where we're at as a city?
Yeah.
I get stealing jewelry and household appliances. These are walking around. This is you parking your car and going inside at night. This is your assistant walking the dog in a decent part of town at night. Their groups have now figured out that this would be profitable enough that we should form an organization and travel about the city and raise money.
Yeah. And they're not the same groups.
And I would argue that it's not all that disconnected from the van that drops off in front of the crypto center and sends all the Latina chicks and their fake kids out to sell ghetto dogs. If you're not going to do anything about that, then you're not going to do anything about the catalytic converters or Lady Gaga's dog.
I think you're right. I guess a happy update with Ryan Fisher. I don't know when this GoFundMe closed, but I'm looking at his GoFundMe page, and he wanted to go on he wanted to take a trip with his RV and sort of heal through seeing America. And he wanted to raise $40,000, and he raised $45,800.
Made his goal.
Hey, can I say this? I've done some GoFundMe, and here are the rules.
Okay.
If you like to make a movie or write a book, go ahead. And if you have an invention for a new kind of breast pump to pump milk, go ahead. If you'd like to see America, that's on you.
Apparently not.
That's my feeling. I want to know. I want a product to come out the other.
Yeah.
If you're just talking about going on a vacation, or I don't have enough money to, after the wedding, go on the honeymoon.
Lady Gaga should have given him the money.
There's got to be some
I'm
story
just
with
saying,
her and Lady Gaga.
Her heroic thing was paying for his medical bills, and she was out.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
She should have given him a little wham, a little walking around money. Wham.
Conway always says
That's right. A little walking around money.
Can I bum you all out with the stat that blew my mind? I'd look it up to refresh my memory, but do you take a guess what percentage or fraction or whatever of all money raised on GoFundMe in 2021, last year, all money raised went just to medical, like fundraise for my new kidney or my cancer treatment or whatever?
What percentage?
Yeah.
Oh, well, if we're going to be bummed out, we got to go 59%.
Yeah, I'm feeling hopeful. I'm going to say 70.
I'll say 85%.
Wait, 70's more
70's.
bummer.
Yeah, I'm feeling.
That'd be a huge bummer if it was 70%.
Oh, I thought it was.
Money, right?
I thought it was a worthy thing to give money
I see.
to.
Oh, it is worthy. It's just sad that people can't take care of themselves.
Very sad. So yes, I will go that way as well.
I phrased it wrong. It was 1/3 of all money raised, but that is insane. For everything on GoFundMe, 1/3 goes to please help pay on medical bills.
That's sick.
And 2/3 is screenplays.
That's right.
That's right.
Medical bills.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so that's always the underlying story. The news, how dare you do a feel-good story about this little girl raised enough money to get herself a new kidney. Like, that is not a feel-good story. That's a sick story.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk Cosby, speaking of which. More allegations. Flooding in, 2 former Cosby Show actresses and 3 other women have sued Bill Cosby and NBC Universal on Tuesday for sexual assault and battery. In the complaint, the women accused Cosby of repeatedly using his enormous power in a nefarious and horrific way.
Glad you said power.
That's right.
All right. Everyone, well, I'll take this back to Lady Gaga and her dog. Whoever you bust for any of these things, I guarantee this ain't their first rodeo. You couldn't find some 19-year-old kid who's had no priors and go, hey, pick up a pistol and go down to West Hollywood and shoot somebody who's walking a dog. And this is the whole thing where we go, look, if you're into something, you're into it. Yeah. If you're punching people on the street or busting windows and grabbing stuff out of the display, you've done it 1,000 times. I don't know. There's no one and done in the roofie department. That's a fucking way of life. And the reason there's going to be hundreds of, or at least tens of victims is this is your thing, and your thing sexually doesn't start in your mid-60s. It starts early on, and then because of the way things were set up and the status, whether you're Weinstein or Cosby, you then get 30 years.
Right, the look-back law.
To put together your resume.
Right.
And so it can't be, there's just this one thing.
And
As
it's
a matter
very
of fact,
specific.
If there is just one thing and it's very specific, you probably shouldn't believe it, because I don't think I'm going to pick up roofing when I'm 67.
God willing.
It's something I'm into now.
Right.
I was into it in junior college, and I continue to be in it.
No, Cosby, his behavior is like the iceberg from Titanic.
Yes.
You're just we're gonna see all this stuff coming out forever.
It's a perfect storm of this is the shit you're into.
Yeah.
And 99.9% of society is not. But for the ones who are, you're into it. And we really didn't have any guardrails for this kind of activity historically from the time you began it until like 10 minutes ago, which means you're going to have a 40-year career of this.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you shouldn't get these laws named after you because that's not a good
true.
sign. Also, I saw a woman say, like, for anyone out there saying, specifically against Cosby, because they're not, a lot of them aren't well-known actresses, like, say, Weinstein. For woman coming out against Cosby, name 3 of his accusers, or 2. So I hope that proves the point that they're not looking to get famous because we don't know their names.
No.
They're just like, yeah, that happened to me now that we're on the subject.
Yeah, and it's also... It seems very hard to fabricate. Like I did see the one woman who was the basketball player.
Yeah, from the college.
Set her up with a
Temple
thing.
University
Took
or
care of
something.
that, and also, if you're 19 and good looking and a guy gets really interested in setting you up with an apartment and taking care of your tuition and stuff like that. Be wary. Right.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about another groping case that we have never talked about. And this is, I will say resurfaced. I will not say unearthed, Brian. But now that Brendan Fraser is back in the limelight for Whale, which I'm sure you're going to see.
On site.
I'm very excited to see it.
Great.
This interview from 2018 from GQ has been like sort of given the spotlight back online.
He was grossed at like the Golden Globes or something.
He was.
Oh,
One
we've
second.
talked about that.
Brendan Fraser? I don't remember this.
We did.
Well, it might have been before
he
me.
was in the... No, it wasn't. I don't think he was in the audience in an event.
Well, let me tell you the story.
Well, tell us. Sorry.
Okay, so he basically says, like, I chose to back away from Hollywood. I chose to get out of the spotlight. I was too hard on myself. I didn't like the person I was becoming. Whatever. He said his self-doubt played a huge decision in what really propelled him to sort of get out of the spotlight. But apparently, a 2003 groping incident involving Philip Burke. He's the former Hollywood Foreign Press Association president.
That's why I had him.
I
Golden
thought it
Globes.
was in Beverly Hills.
Very possible. Though Burke has maintained he was only pinching the actor on his butt as a joke. Fraser described it.
That's his out?
Yes. Oh, because it's so much worse. Fraser says the touching was invasive. He said, Bark's left hand, quote, reach around and grab my ass cheek and taint. And he starts moving his finger around.
But it was just a joke.
Yeah, it was just hilarious. So Fraser said it caused him a lot of emotional and personal
All
distress.
right, something's wrong with him, Fraser.
Yeah?
Something's wrong with him.
Okay.
What?
You can't be an adult dude and cause a lot of distress.
Well, like
and
Terry
fussing or
Crews.
whatever. Something's wrong with Terry Crews too. There's
be
something
something.
wrong.
Well, he
There's
said-
something wrong.
Okay.
Everyone, listen. Don't pile on. This is why it's completely and utterly out of control. There is Harvey Weinstein. There is Bill Cosby, and then there's Brendan Fraser. This ain't shit. This is nothing. This is nothing. We keep going with all this stuff, and it just keeps going. If you're at a function and there's a large group of people around and people are drinking and somebody does some version
Sack
of it,
tap.
which is like doing the sack tap or he did a cheek grab. He didn't he didn't lick his finger and shove it in his fucking asshole.
called bowling
This
balls.
is fucking
Right,
around.
right.
This is horseplay. Something is wrong with the person who was traumatized by this, the same way Lisa, whoever on the cargo plane with
Franken.
Yeah.
Al Franken. Sorry.
Leanne.
Tweeden, I think.
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah. Let's not conflate everything with everything else. Something's wrong with him. Something's wrong. I mean, if you went to the bathroom and the guy went into the stall with you and locked the door behind him and started coming at you, this is an ass grab.
Yeah.
This is a drunken guy fucking around with Tarzan or whatever.
Encino Man.
Encino Man
And he was Tarzan.
Yeah, he was
and
Tarzan.
Tarzan.
He was all
Yes.
the mans.
Yeah.
Yes, this is that.
He said that this caused him, the distress, and he said,
No,
okay,
then something's wrong with him.
maybe.
Okay.
And he said that playing by the rules in Hollywood in regards to these power dynamics, he didn't want to do it anymore. He didn't want to be felt up by the leader of the Hollywood Foreign Press, so he's out.
Something's wrong with him.
Okay.
That's all.
Yeah. Well,
Plain and
it can
simple.
only help in the new movie, The Whale, which is supposed to be spectacular.
Look, if you get rear-ended and the car behind you is traveling at 3 miles an hour and you claim
You broke your neck?
you hurt your neck and you cannot walk or work anymore, the guy still bumped you from behind, but there's something wrong with
Yeah.
you.
Brendan got bumped from behind.
That's what
I thought you were going to say
saying.
rear-ended.
He
was
said
rear-ended
the
by
guy
Hollywood Foreign
grabbed
Press.
outside of his clothes, right?
Yeah.
Grabbed his ass cheek. And
and
he said,
got into the tank.
And
well,
taint.
well, first off,
That's what I heard.
whatever it is you said you were traumatized by, you got to up the ante a little because the lesser version of that is a slap on the ass,
Right.
which takes place quite a bit in the NFL, for instance.
A slap on the taint, though, takes skill.
Yeah, you have to be like in
Precision.
Downward Dog.
But diamonds are a girl's best friend. A slap on the taint can be quite continental. But diamonds are a girl's best. So something's wrong with him.
Okay.
If you drop out of Hollywood and you're traumatized by drunken whatever guy slapping you outside a rented tuxedo, then you have a problem.
Well said.
Oh, we have Brandon's quote about it. So says
Yeah,
Chris.
so he's told this to the New York Times. So he pinched Fraser's ass in jest, according to Burke. But Fraser said what Burke did was more than a pinch. Quote, his left hand reaches around, grabs my ass cheek, and one of his fingers touches me in the taint, and he starts moving it around. Fraser says that in this moment he was overcome with panic and fear. Quote, I felt ill. I felt like a little kid. I felt like there was a ball in my throat. I thought I was going to cry.
But
That's past
you're
trauma,
in a
you're saying.
large group of people who are dressed in formal wear.
Yeah.
You're saying this is a past issue that has not been
Yeah,
resolved.
it was in the midst of a crowded room.
Most of what we're talking about is a past issue that then gets unleashed. And so things that happened to you that were horrific
Right.
when you were 9 that got buried,
Come out.
somebody pulls the ripcord on them
Right.
at 39. And the problem is as a society, we don't delve into the old part. We're just like, oh my God, what
Villainize
happened this time? Well,
Right.
what happened this time is somewhere between nothing and a joke or sort of drunken. That guy shouldn't have done that. It's a knock it off, keep
Right.
walking kind of moment. And it wouldn't do anything to anyone who didn't have past trauma or who was wired in such a way where you could just keep walking. So it unlocks something. By the way, that movie Whale, I was checking it out on Rotten Tomatoes. 74, like
What?
It was weird. It's like this
thought it
is
was-
the toast
yeah.
of Tribeca and stuff,
right.
and it was like 74.
Interesting.
Was
With
it
the
like-
critics?
Yes.
Well, I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but it was a play. It was a play.
71 now. with
That's
the critics.
shocking. So I
I'm
thought maybe they
surprised.
liked the play better if anybody saw it. Jonathan, do you know anything about it?
I know that he's like a front runner for Academy Award nomination, and where it has shown, it has gotten rave reviews from the people that were there, standing
Oh,
ovations.
Han
Right.
and everything else.
Yeah, exactly. Famously, and it feels like this sort of entree back into the world, which
Right.
he
But
was such a
71,
master for.
which is not
I'm surprised.
glowing for a movie that is a
That's
darling.
shocking.
And
Yeah.
Darren Aronofsky, who is a very celebrated critically director.
Right. Oh, Brian, you weren't here when I said this, but I don't know if you ended up seeing Don't Worry, Darling, speaking of the toast
I
of
did.
Cannes. I saw it twice in the same weekend. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I liked it much more than I expected
Yeah,
to.
everyone was shitting on it or shitting on the
Yeah.
vibe, the back behind the scenes. I thought it was great.
Whenever I talked to anyone about it who'd seen it, I said, flawed.
Yeah.
Like, there's problems with it that need to be, like, shored up.
Sure.
But it is what it is, and overall, good movie.
Yeah, did you see it?
I didn't see it.
Oh, I thought it was great.
And I think because of all the drama that sort of surrounded
Yeah.
it, that there were so many
Yes.
options,
That
and to like
advantage.
see that, because the thing is, like, when you're on set, it's a very stressful thing, and I think to then have people publicly lie about what's
Right.
going on, that's such a. It's
not great.
It's not great, and it sort of leaves like a. And not that it's ever happened to me, but I just was sort of like, not at the time. I was like, I'm just not going to give my energy to that.
I get it.
But it looked. I mean, it looked cool.
And that being said, if Shia LaBeouf was supposed to play the Harry Styles role, that movie would have catapulted in the stratosphere. It would have been amazing.
He was a weak link.
Yeah, but
That's what I
But
heard.
it's a thoroughly enjoyable movie. Do we have time for one more?
Sure.
Oh, good, because I really, you know what? I almost want to save it so we can do a taste test, but let's talk about it anyway. Have you guys heard about Pilk? The pilking?
Is that Pepsi and milk?
It sure is. Pepsi is
That's
trying.
what's in this mug.
Pepsi is trying so hard
That's
to make
an
this a
acronym.
thing.
But that's like a mom you'd like to pork.
It's a MILF.
Yeah.
Pill.
That's
A
many.
a mom you want to. Yeah, that's a
You'll-
MIG.
Right. So they're hoping that this is like a thing. They're trying to make it one. They launched a new holiday drink concoction. They're calling Pilk or a dirty Pepsi, which obviously is a sexual euphemism.
First off,
Yeah.
That's going to be the grossest ads of just like a poo stain, like got Pilk.
That's what happened to Brendan Fraser. You got the dirty Pepsi.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He's the original Pilker.
That's right.
It's just a guy in a stall. You know how they would have like all these like famous celebrities, but it's just celebrities like on the crapper.
this is
Just got Pilk.
Got Pilk.
This is a Lindsay Lohan
Yeah, I'm going to show you.
commercial I saw.
But Adam, you should know where else on 70s TV.
Laverne and Shirley.
There you go. So apparently it was already a thing.
Laverne, like, was it Pepsi
They
or
said
Coke?
it was Pepsi and milk, but
Pepsi
cola and milk or whatever.
Yeah, that was her thing.
So here's one of the spots with Lohan. This had the most dialogue.
Nice.
I didn't need her to make a comeback.
No, she's pouring
Melody.
it mixed
Pepsi
together.
and milk. Pilk.
Takes a fake sip and they cut.
I don't like that.
That is one dirty soda.
I love how in Pepsi's ad campaign, the milk is the naughty.
Totally.
Right.
Not the
High
bone
fructose corn
strengthening.
syrup. No,
That's
you're all
right.
right.
Brown dye number 17.
Delish.
But if it comes from an udder.
Thank you, cancer.
In defense of people who like this nonsense, it's not that far off from like a vanilla Coke.
Well, I was going to say like
a
a
phosphate, a
or
vanilla
like
phosphate.
a root beer float
Yeah.
or whatever. But Pepsi seems to be the thing that doesn't jive. Maybe even a Coke
Sad.
with milk would
But
be
you know what's
better.
gross about it? Like, you know how when someone has like milk with ice?
Yeah.
It's like at least the ice cream makes it cold.
Right.
But like watered down milk?
Yeah.
My
It's vile.
something that nobody under 50s ever tasted, said, or thought about is my old school Hungarian grandfather loved buttermilk.
Straight?
He loved straight up
Ew.
buttermilk.
It's just sour.
Yeah,
He
it's not
loved
good.
himself some butter. Well, you know, it falls under the heading of, to him, it's like beer and brandy and stuff. It doesn't have a yummy taste. It's just a different
But it
taste.
He
cures what
loved
ails
drinking
ya.
a mug of cream cheese.
I used to drink buttermilk was a thing.
Oh, yeah.
It was a big thing.
Well, I know buttermilk biscuits and buttermilk pancakes.
I don't even know if they sell buttermilk anymore, but he would just
It looks like eggnog.
he would
Yeah,
he would
which is
buy
sweet.
it.
I
I'll
love
tell you what it
eggnog.
tasted like. It was thicker, viscous milk that had just a little lemony kind of
That sounds
vibe to
awful.
it.
That sounds like stomach acid.
It was good. Like I drank it when I was 10. It was,
Guys.
like, it was fine.
Let's go with buttermilk. Not you, Jerry, who pitched viscous milk.
That's right.
There's the viscosity on this milk. It's like drinking.
Now the thing that and these are like early jokes that I forgot about, but my grandfather, who again is like very old school, you know, he ate cow's tongue and stuff like that. He was an old world Jew who ate, you know, he didn't like sweet and fancy. He liked the old school.
That's weird.
But he loved himself some buttermilk,
That's
you know?
fucking
And he would say to me, more thirst quenching than anything, you know, like this really quenches the thirst. And I was like,
Dubious.
well, just because you don't want it anymore of it
Your
doesn't, like
thirst is
Gatorade, I'll drink a liter of that
Right.
shit.
That sounds like the Paul Giamatti diet.
Yeah, I'll have a teaspoon of buttermilk and be topped off with buttermilk. So I am quenched. I'm
Right.
not satiated.
I don't want
I don't
more.
want more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's not thirst quenching.
No, that's not the
I
same
don't want
thing.
more. Right.
Yeah, just because what you're serving isn't delicious doesn't mean
Yeah,
I'm on
I
a
drink
diet.
WD-40.
You guys are going hard in the paint against buttermilk. I'm telling you, it's not bad. Has anyone had it?
It sounds like sour milk.
I feel like I've had it.
You
Not,
have?
not
Brian's
straight.
had it?
No,
I had Chrissy bakes with it, and I've tasted it. It's the bottom tier of milks, aside from maybe evaporated milk. I
cream.
guess.
But I
Yeah.
also think in this country that the milk that we have is so watered down
True,
anyway.
true.
Like skim and 2%.
That's not a thing.
It's like it's
Yeah,
so,
just get whole
It's
milk.
like
Yeah, exactly.
school glue.
Get
I know,
yourself
I
some
did-
nog.
I agree. I did buttermilk at 10, and I was like, tastes fine.
I think I had it as a kid too.
Since you guys just said nog, can we please actually end up with this anyway?
Mm-hmm.
You guys like eggnog, right?
Love it.
I didn't try.
Everybody.
Hold on. I haven't tried it until I was an adult, and it's delicious, and I approve. But there's something else now. It's eggonog. It's
Ew.
waffle eggonog, Appalachian sipping cream.
No,
And it is available at finer stores. It's rum-based and cinnamon and nutmeg flavors, and it's called Eggnog Appalachian Sipping Cream.
no.
Like Yoo-hoo.
Yeah.
Eggo-nog.
Eggo-nog,
Yeah.
just like my great granny. Just like my
Eggnog is not broken. It does not need
It's
fixing.
so good.
It is so goddamn good.
Yeah.
What do you put in your eggnog?
I like rum and I like brandy.
I like brandy too. I'm the only. Thought I was the only one.
Yeah, I love it.
Oh, we'll
I'm
do some.
excited
We'll
for
do some
eggnog.
eggnog and do some fresh nutmeg
Oh,
on top
yeah.
of it. Adds. I don't know why. I can't defend it. I can't explain it. But the fresh nutmeg on top just kicks it.
I love it.
Eggnog made me come around on creamy alcohol because I was like, that's not a good combo, but eggnog's fucking great.
You should try buttermilk and rum.
Yeah. Classic combo. For
That's
the
called a
holidays.
grandy kiss.
Oh, you guys, so harsh on. But
I'm bringing you some next
You're
time.
besmirching my grandfather's
No.
memory and
What
legacy.
are you talking about? I go to his grocery store.
That's
You
true.
said he was an old Jew?
Old Jew.
Yeah, that's my people. That's what we drink. We're like, do you want this thing with sugar? No, I'm going to take this thing that's 50% salt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll take anything savory.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. Again, it doesn't taste like a grape soda or anything. It's its own category. You probably have to.
I gotta try it.
You have to do it early on in life, like poi or something like that. But and I haven't had a sip of it since I was 10. So, but I just remember kind of going like,
Is it kind of like liquid sour cream?
it's thick milk that has a lemony
bite.
kind
Little
of a vinegary, lemony, whatever.
I mean, I
to
like
it.
Greek yogurt.
I like it with Frosted Flakes.
Buttermilk is a fermented dairy drink, so
There
that's
you
where you're
go.
getting that lemon flavor. So traditionally, it was a
sour.
liquid left behind after churning butter out of cultured cream, but now in Western countries, it's made with uncultured sweet cream, and most modern buttermilk in Western countries is cultured separately. So yeah,
I'm
Not like grandma.
It's definitely thicker.
I'm guessing in Germany and Hungary, they per capita drink a shitload more than we do here.
Well, you don't throw out
Steins.
right,
Right.
and you don't throw out the buttermilk just because you're done churning the butter.
Yeah.
I think we can all learn from that.
That's very good.
In America, we probably have I can't believe it's not buttermilk or margarine milk. Just gross.
Gee, your buttermilk smells horrific. Ugh. All right, let's bring it home, Gina Grad.
You got it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news.
I never knew Shakespeare. I never knew Einstein, but I did meet Alan Carolla.
That was the news with Gina Grad.
All right, let me tell you about Stamps.com. No matter how much we prep, holiday chaos always comes along, especially for small businesses. Get holiday mailing and shipping under control with Stamps.com. All you need is a computer and a printer. We've used it here for 12 years plus. We ship merch, we ship books, we do paperwork that way. Plus, major discounts, like up to 86% off of UPS rates. Rates are constantly changing with Stamps.com. You can switch. They have a switch and save feature. You can compare carriers and rates and get the best deal every time. Sign up with promo code ADAM for special offerings, including a 4-week trial, free postage, and a digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts. Stamps.com. You click the microphone at the top of the homepage and enter Adam for all the discounts. Make it easy on yourself this year. And it comes with a scale, I do believe, as well.